There's a level of discipline so unfamiliar, so precise. It disturbs people, not because it hurts, but because it reveals exactly what's possible when there are no more excuses. It forces people to see the truth. They could do more. They just don't. In this video, you'll discover the ancient mourning system used by samurai warriors to turn intention into identity. A ritual so structured, so brutal, it leaves no space for weakness. If you're serious about mastering your mindset, subscribe now and comment on the ritual you'll begin tomorrow, the one that scares your old self. Let's begin. The alarm rings. They hit snooze once, twice. By the third time, the phone is in their hand. Emails, messages, headlines, dopamine. In less than 5 minutes, their mind is already enslaved. Not to purpose, not to clarity, but to noise. They tell themselves it's freedom. Waking when they want, checking what they want, choosing the flow of the morning. But what they don't see is the cost. There is no ground beneath their routine. No structure, no rhythm, no armor. They skip breakfast, rush into the day, and wonder why nothing feels under control. This is not freedom. It's fragmentation disguised as choice. The modern morning destroys strength, but subtly, not through laziness, but through infinite options. And when everything is optional, nothing becomes sacred. Compare this to the samurai, who would rise at the same precise time, move through their sequence of actions with silence, ritual, and devotion. Their morning wasn't a start, it was a sharpening. While today's man hits snooze, the samurai became the sword. For the samurai, the day did not begin when the sun rose. It began the moment the self was conquered. Their mornings were not casual entries into comfort, but sacred transitions into command. Each movement was fixed, each breath deliberate. There was no question of if something would be done, only how well it would be done today. They didn't journal to feel grateful or sprint to optimize energy. That mindset didn't exist. Theirs was the mindset of war, not against enemies outside, but against softness within. The bell rang at the same hour each day. Eyes opened with obedience, not confusion. Water was poured not to refresh, but to purify. The body moved, not for aesthetics, but to remind the spirit it belonged to something higher than comfort. There were no apps, no playlists, no scroll breaks. The samurai crafted mornings with the same intensity they wielded a blade, practicing forms, sharpening posture, disciplining breath. And over time, the simple repetition became sacred. The act became origin. The ritual became identity. To them, discipline was not a trait. It was a temple. They weren't organizing their day. They were fortifying their soul, hour by hour, action by action. Their morning routine didn't prepare them for the day. It forged the man who could face the day. And today, that template still remains, waiting for those who have the courage to make their first hour non-negotiable. Lucas had everything, on paper. A steady job in tech, a decent apartment, friends who admired his hustle. But inside, every day felt like starting over. He called it freedom. Monday was yoga at 7 a.m. Tuesday, he slept in. Wednesday, he'd go for a quick jog sometimes. Thursday, emails in bed, eyes half closed. He told himself he was listening to his body, being intuitive, avoiding burnout. But something deeper was happening. He had no ritual beneath him. Each morning was a negotiation. Some days he won, most days he lost. But no matter what he tried, a new app, a journaling prompt, a cold shower version 2.0, the routine never stuck. It was always adapting, always shifting, always needing to be reassembled. And that's where he was wrong. The samurai didn't adapt their mornings. They submitted to them. Ritual wasn't a choice. It was identity. One sleepless night, scrolling through videos he wouldn't remember, Lucas stumbled across a rare conversation between two monks discussing ritual as armor. That phrase wouldn't leave him. Ritual as armor. He fell down the rabbit hole, Shugyo Zanshin Dokodo, writings on the power of unchanging form. That's when he made the decision. No more optimization, no more variety. Just one fixed morning system, repeated daily, without fail, for 90 days, not to change his schedule, to change who he was. Lucas didn't want a new routine, he wanted a new self. So he wrote it down, not in an app, but on paper, by hand. Words chosen carefully, ink that wouldn't disappear with a swipe. At the top he wrote, The 90-day warrior morning. Beneath it 5 steps, no more, no less. Step 1, wake at 4:45 a.m. sharp, no snooze. No hesitation. The alarm was not a suggestion. It was the call to war. Eyes open, feet planted. Day begins. Step 2, cold rinse or shower, 5 minutes. A modern tribute to cold river cleansing. No comfort here. Just shock, breath, and presence. The body learns discipline before the mind wakes. Step 3, 20 slow bodyweight repetitions. Push-ups, squats, stretches. Form over speed, mind on movement. Each rep a kata, not for strength but for submission to the form. Step 4, 10 minutes of silence. No thoughts to fix, no goals to chase. Just sit, breathe, listen, zazen style. Most war is fought in the mind before the day begins, so silence became his sword. Step 5, green tea or water. No phone, he drank with awareness. No rush, no screen. He would not pollute the silence with apps or opinions. The world did not exist before his ritual ended. Lucas vowed 90 days of this. No skipping, no substitutions, no fragmentation. Whether sick, traveling, heartbroken, or late, the ritual stood unchanged because real transformation doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing the same sacred act so often. Your identity bends under its weight, not to fit in, but to become the man who executes, without needing permission. The first morning hit like a wall. Lucas stood under the freezing stream, breath stolen from his lungs, his body begging to step out. His mind offered every excuse it had. Start tomorrow. Adjust the plan. Warm water won't ruin the ritual. But he stayed. Day 2, he fought the alarm again. His legs ached. His thoughts were fog. His fingers trembled as he scribbled notes in silence. Nothing about it was graceful. Friends laughed. You're being extreme. Just rest today, you can start again tomorrow. Nobody's watching, man. Exactly. And that's what made it sacred. By day 5, something shifted. The alarm still rung at 4:45, but the resistance wasn't as loud. The body tensed, but the doubt began to fade. The voice that once shouted, "Skip this," now whispered and disappeared before he reached the sink. His brain stopped asking if he should do it. The movement, wake, rinse, train, sit, drink, began happening as if placed on rails, and by the end of week 2, discomfort had transformed into the beginning of momentum. He was no longer thinking his way into action. Action was reshaping how he thought. Lucas wasn't becoming better. He was becoming silent, focused, sharpened, not because it got easier, as it didn't, but because he had stopped negotiating with weakness and started obeying the ritual. By the 4th week, the battle was no longer loud. Lucas's alarm rang at 4:45, but he was already awake. Not staring at the ceiling, not thinking, just moving, feet on the floor before his mind had registered what was happening. No inner monologue, no hesitation. The cold rinse didn't sting like before, it welcomed him. His muscles no longer ached from movement, they anticipated it. The silence didn't feel empty, it felt like home. He wasn't following the ritual anymore. He had become it. Neurologists call this the basal ganglia effect, a portion of the brain responsible for automatizing behavior when repetition occurs in the same time and place. The body learns. The mind stops interfering. At this point, Lucas didn't need discipline. He needed continuity. To break the pattern now felt wrong, like leaving the house without breathing. This is what the samurai understood. That identity doesn't emerge on the peaks. It is carved in the repetition. The form becomes the man, not the other way around. Lucas wasn't training his mornings anymore. He was shaped by them, where others still searched for the will to begin. He had already finished. The difference wasn't effort, it was system, it was silence, it was surrender to what was built to break him, but instead forged him. By day 45, things outside the ritual began to change. 2. Not because Lucas worked harder, but because he stopped wasting himself. He no longer drifted into dopamine loops or scrolled through noise that numbed his fire. His focus deepened. Meetings became concise. Projects hit deadlines. His evenings, once consumed by repetition of laziness, were now quiet moments of reflection or reading. No effort, just order. He wasn't chasing time anymore. Time began arranging itself around him. The people closest to him noticed first. "You've changed, man. Hard to reach you now. Don't burn out. You're too strict. Gotta live a little." He smiled. They didn't understand. Discipline hadn't made him rigid. It had made him free. He no longer needed arguments to rest. No longer needed motivation to rise. He didn't crave noise anymore. He craved stillness. He didn't get excited about new videos or new gurus. He got excited about being the man who never misses. At 5 a.m., while others slept, Lucas was already halfway through a silent war they didn't even know existed. His character grew stronger than the chaos. His clarity outlived his excuses. He didn't wake up to fight. He was already forged. And when others called it obsession, he knew that was exactly the point. Because when your routine makes people nervous, you're finally living at a level the undisciplined can't even imagine. Now it's your turn. No more theory. No more tweaking your schedule. No more pretending productivity apps are the answer. Take a pen. Write down your ritual. 5 simple, repeatable actions. Lock your wake-up time. Make it non-negotiable. Not something you try, something you become. Pick movements over motivation. Silence over stimulation. Water instead of screens. Discipline over drama, then post it below. Your public declaration. The samurai didn't ask themselves what they felt like doing. They followed the form rain or fire. They didn't seek flexibility. They killed it. For the next 90 days, your job is simple. Wake up and execute. No upgrades. No edits, no gaps. When you want to quit, remember, it's not about how you feel. It's about who you said you would be. That's where identity is forged, not in emotion, but in silence before the world wakes. Your ritual begins before the sun does, and when your old self begs for comfort, you already know the answer. Comment below. What's your warrior morning ritual? What time does your transformation begin? Because once written, it becomes real. Now tell me in the comments, what will your samurai morning ritual be? What time will it begin? Every day, no exception. This is not a wish. This is your vow. Your identity begins the moment you make it real. Return to this video in 90 days. Leave an update. Tell us what changed, because by then, you won't need reminders. You won't need motivation. You will have become the ritual